Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, let me tell you about what I do. I am a relationship coach specifically for women who have been cheated on, but they want to stay in their relationship. They want to work things out. They love the person who cheated on them. And even though it's difficult, even though it is scary, they want to stick it out. They want to work it out. And if that is you, that's why I call you believers, because you believe in your love. All right. I'm a believer too. Okay. I believed in my love. And guess what? It is 16 years later. It is beautiful. Things are going well. I can trust. I'm not hurting anymore. The relationship is great. So I know for sure that this can happen. I just want you to be aware of that and able to get there yourselves. All right. Mulatto Beauty, I see you over there on Instagram. Hey, girl, glad you're here. I was having technical difficulties last week, but it looks like everything is going the way it's supposed to, I think. Yeah, I think everything is going the way it's supposed to. Let me know if you have any trouble hearing me, but it has looked like, it looks like everything is right. Hey there, Sherry. How you doing? Glad you're here today. Hello, hello. All right. So you can hear me and everything, right? Because I had issues. I don't know. My other computer just decided to stop using my microphones. It would not plug in anything. So I was like, okay, got to switch. All right. I thought I had to buy a new microphone. Come to find out it was the computer. All righty, y'all. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I love talking about this because there are so many women out here who want to stay, who want to work it out. Okay, good, Sherry. I'm glad you can hear. Good, good, good. All right. Everything was saying it was right, but sometimes it acts up. But everybody knows somebody that's been cheated on. And always the answer is, oh, leave him, girl, leave him. You shouldn't be with him anymore. Let him go. Let him kick him to the curb, whatever. I know that that is the normal thing that you hear, but there's a lot of women out here who have stayed. And that is the reason why you hear that so much, because they stayed and they never actually healed from it. And so they're miserable. And so they are talking to you from their fear, from their trauma, and telling you that you shouldn't stay either. And I want you to know that that is where that's coming from. It's coming from fear. It's coming from pain. It's not coming from reality. Okay. You can stay, you can work it out, everything can go well. All right. It's going great with me. The women that I work with, it's going great for them. So I want you to be one of those women I work with and have you understand that you don't have to give up your relationship just because this trauma has happened to you. And it is a trauma. All right. We got to start treating it like a trauma so we can actually heal from it, get over it, get to the next chapter of our lives. Right. So you let me know that likes and loves if you're here with me, if you're hearing what I'm saying, you're ready to work it out. You want to stay and fix things with the person that you love. Give me likes, give me love. Let me know that you're here with me. All right, so I'm a little late today because my son plays lacrosse, so he had a game tonight, so we had to, come back from the game. But that's okay. I'm here now. Usually it'll be like 9:15. If I'm late, it'll be like 9:15 if he's got a game and I gotta go pick him up. All right. So let's get to work. Let's get to work on fixing this trauma. The first thing you need to know, and these things that I'm always going to tell you are things that you can do on your own to start healing this trauma. Okay. You need to start doing it on your own. Okay. If you don't do it on your own, you're waiting for your honey to help you with it. You're going to be waiting for a while because nobody else can do this healing work for you. All right. Elise, thank you so much. I curled it this afternoon. It stayed, thank the Lord. It stayed curled for me. I appreciate the compliment. Oh, goodness. All right. So the stuff that you can do all on your own, these are things that you can start to do for your trauma that are going to help you to get past this to a better place. All right. First thing that we are always going to do together is do our deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? Let me know. At least you was coming through something the other day. You've been doing your deep breathing more since that happened the other day. Sherry, what's going on with you and your deep breathing? Have you been doing your deep breathing on a regular basis? It was so funny the other week. We were moving into this new place. Got the new office and everything, and we were moving in here, and I was stressing. I was like, trying to get all the things done, and my husband was like, "Hey, do your deep breathing." And he sat there and he counted for me and made me slow down my breathing, my inhales and my exhales. He slowed me way down, made me feel good. So it works, okay? It works great when you remember to do it. So I want you to be doing this 5 times a day. Do this on the regular so that it is a fallback position. If you are starting to stress, it's almost time to do your deep breathing again. Let's go ahead on and do that deep breathing for a little while and see doesn't that help. All right. So I want you to be doing this consistently. It helps with the trauma. It helps get you feeling better, more in control of your emotions. That's the main thing we're needing to do to heal from this, is to start regulating those emotions. So first thing we're going to do is do our deep breathing. We are going to do 4-7-8 breathing. What I do is that particular pattern. Now, you can do whatever pattern you'd like. There's something like it's called square breathing. You breathe in for the same amount of time that you breathe out. Hey, I don't care which one you use. I don't care, as long as it's engaging your brain and actually you're doing your deep breathing. When you do that, you trigger your brain and tell your brain that you are actually safe. I know your brain will send the signal that you are not safe, that things are scary. But if you change your breathing, you are telling your brain, you are giving that message back to your brain saying, no, I'm actually okay. Everything is fine. I'm safe. I'm in control of my breathing. I am not being chased. I am not in any danger. Things are okay. All right. So when I do 4-7-8, what we do is blow out, get rid of all that excess carbon dioxide. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, and they're going to hold that breath for a count of 7. And then we're going to blow out like we're blowing out a whole cake full of birthday candles for a count of 8. When you blow out, make the noise. Make that sound. That's the sound of I'm calming down. I had a lady in one of my groups, and every time she went, her husband was like, is everything all right? You're doing your deep breathing. Are you okay? Are we okay? Things all right? Immediately, because he knew that was what she was doing. She had explained to him, hey, I'm going to be doing my deep breathing on a regular basis, especially when I'm starting to stress out. So that is what I'm doing. I'm not huffing and puffing. I am doing my deep breathing. So he started paying attention, and he picked up on it really quickly. And he was like, oh, we good? Everything all right? So doing this consistently will show your mate that you're in control of yourself too. Sherry, you say you've done some, but not consistently. Consistency is key though, girl. I'm trying to tell you, if you're doing it on a regular basis, I had severe anxiety before all this happened. I had severe anxiety from time I was like a young teenager. A whole bunch of stuff, trauma issues, background, whatever. That didn't have anything to do with me being cheated on. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to calm down. My mother had me in therapy for a while, but honestly, the best thing that I ever did was starting to do the deep breathing. When my heart is pounding and I get that drop in my stomach, I know, okay, start doing your deep breathing, because immediately that changes what your body is doing. Your body, when you are freaked out like that, it is a physical reaction that is happening. It is the danger sign. It is fight or flight. It is, hey, we need to pump blood in different directions now. Usually just kind of goes in a circuit around your body and it's fine. But when you have that fight or flight response, it goes to your extremities. It heads outward from the middle. So you are getting more blood to your arms and your legs so that you can fight or you can run. And we don't need that in a relationship. We're not trying to fight them. We're not trying to run away from them. So we don't need those two. And freeze too. Freeze is a thing too, but we don't need any of those as a reaction to our relationship. We need to be able to be conscious, rational beings, not scared animals. So we have to switch that. We have to make sure that part of our brain shuts off and that we get back in control. It's not just autopilot anymore. All right. So you need to be doing this on a regular. so that your body will fall back into it. When you first start feeling the feeling, your body will know, oh, it's time to do our deep breathing. That's a discomfort in my chest right here. I feel like I need to do my deep breathing. It will automatically remind you. All right. So doing it consistently is really, really helpful. All right. So we're going to do our deep breathing together. Now, I say 5 times a day, but we're going to do it 3 times for the sake of time. All right. So first things first, we're going to blow out. Making a noise. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's beautiful. How are you feeling when you do your deep breathing? Let me know. How's it feel? Everybody over here on Facebook, everybody else on Instagram, let me know. How does it feel when you're doing your deep breathing? It should change the state that you're in. When you're starting to freak out, if your chest is starting to pound, it should start to calm that down. It should start to bring your blood pressure down. It should start to bring your pulse down. You should be able to think a little bit more clearly. All of a sudden, you got all this oxygenated blood going to your brain. It is helpful to do. It is a physical thing as well as a mental thing we are dealing with here. So if you face it on both of those fronts, you're going to do way better. All right. Second thing that I'm always going to tell you, no matter where we are, no matter what time of the day it is, do your journaling. Okay. Sit down with your journal and write. It does not matter what kind of journal you use. That's just a notebook I got from the store. I got a whole bunch of notebooks somewhere, but it's still in storage. It does not matter what you write in. It does not matter what you write with. Sit down 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. You don't have to write a book. That is not your assignment. Your assignment is to sit down with your feelings for about 5 minutes, set a timer, and pour stuff out onto the page. Don't think too hard. Pour it out. Let it out. Let it be free. Because the action of doing that is going to start to help you. It's going to start to help you get over the thoughts. And then once you have poured it out like that, you can remember that you've gone over this information before, that we've talked about this before, you thought about this before. You can write it all down and then you can come back to it later and it will help you later. All right. We need this. We need this. Do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Date and time so that you have this data. You can find patterns. When you know that every night, 9:35 p.m., I'm going to be freaking out a little bit. You can know that. That is a known thing now. Now I can, at 8:35, start to plan how I'm going to deal with the anxiety that's going to come up at 9:35. You'll know about it sooner. You'll be able to handle it better. All right. And then your level of anxiety is 0 to 10. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. You're at peace. All is right with the world. Write that shit down. Okay. You need to write down the days that you are a 0 on the scale, that everything is beautiful. Things are going well. You're handling things well with your honey. You're healing. You're moving. Okay. Write that down because your brain will play tricks on you and tell you that that's not real, that you're not actually making any progress, that things are always god awful. And there's just no way to prove it. There's a way to prove it if you write it in your journal. Now we got the level of 10. 10 is a loss of control. 10 is I want to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. You don't have control over yourself anymore. You are screaming. You are throwing things. You are flipping out. Chances are you're not sitting at your journal writing anything if you're flipping out, right? So if you're sitting there and you got hold of your pen and you're writing your date and your time and you go to write your level of anxiety, you're like 10. I want you to hold on for a minute. because that's not true. If you're doing all of those things, you are not quite at a 10. You can be at a 9. You can be at a 9.5 if you really want to be. But a 10 is a loss of control. You will not be sitting down writing when you're at a 10. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Keep that scale in mind as you're going forward. All right, any questions about that? Questions, comments, thoughts? All right. All right, next thing that I always tell you that I want you to consistently do. Consistency is key, people. I want you to have an attitude of gratitude. I want you to develop a gratefulness practice. All right, I have some oracle cards that gave me the assignment of doing a gratitude charm for 28 days, putting this on, and every time I see it, every time I touch it, every time I remember it, trying to think of something that I'm grateful for, writing it down. All right, it is so beautiful. All of the things that I've written down, I was like, oh, my life is good. When I go back and look at them, it's not been 28 days yet. It's probably been about 12, but it's excellent. Okay. It feels good to go back and look at those things because they're real. All right. No matter how stressed out I've been trying to get into this place, trying to move and all that, it has still been a wonderful life. I have plenty of things to be grateful for, things to be happy about on a day-to-day basis. You can forget that easily if you're not focusing on it. So I want you every day to be thinking about what is good in my life. What can I be grateful for? Because grateful is a hell of a lot easier to get to than happy and totally trusting and all fixed and healed up. It is easier to get to grateful from misery to there. All right. So what I want you to do is tell me your Thursdays. Tell me your good stuff that has happened this week. Let me know if there's anything in particular, because on the post I didn't see anything. But if you got something right now that is going on, that is a good thing in your life, I want to hear about it. Make sure you put it in the comments. All right. I want to hear about it. And we are going to share that light because good things deserve to be shared. As easy as it is for us to share the negative, we must be absolutely vigilant about sharing the positive. Okay, it's easy to share the negative, and then that spreads more negative. The same way that you can hear all of the stories of people in other groups where they're just hopeless and they're feeling terrible, and you relate to that, and you cling onto that pain that they're in and put it inside yourself. The same thing happens with goodness. The same thing happens with happiness. I want you to be thinking about the things that you are grateful for, sharing them with other people as much as you share the bad things that have been happening. Bandito14, hi. How you doing over there? Glad you're here. All right. So, anybody got anything for Thursday? Any good news? You let me know if you got some good news for me. All right. And I will shout you out for sure. I get to wear my favorite color today. That's nice. I'm grateful for purple today. That's what I'm grateful for. Grateful for purple and ice cold water. That's what I'm grateful for right now. All right. My allergies have been terrible. Pollen is just killing me. So I'm just drinking water, trying to flush it. All right. So last thing that I'm always going to tell you about. I'm great over here, Bandito. How are you doing? We are talking about, this is all women though. We are talking about getting past infidelity. So, you got anything to say about that? Let me know. All right. So the last thing, always going to tell you every single time we get together, is to stop asking all those questions. I know. There was somebody in the group earlier today that I answered that was saying that her pastor is doing counseling with them. And she was like, I want to ask all these questions and they're telling me not to ask the question. I'm telling you too. Okay. It is bad. All right. Don't do it. It is terrible for you. If you keep asking all those questions, you keep feeding a trauma response. That's all you're doing. Your brain tells you, I cannot move past this. I cannot trust again. I cannot forgive until I know every detail of the story. And I'm trying to tell you that's a lie. That is a trick of trauma. It is a trauma response to try and get you to collect as much information as you possibly can about this happening to you. And then every time something that even a little bit looks like that happens, you're going to automatically believe that, oh, this is the worst case scenario. He's cheating again. All right. We gotta stop asking all those questions. I know you don't want to, but in order to heal, you gotta do it. That is how you heal. That you asking all these questions and stressing yourself out about the answers and getting all these details about positions they were in and what he said to her and what she said to him. That's not gonna help you heal at all. It's not. I promise you it's not. That's not where your closure is gonna come from. So I need you to stop that. Right. All right, let me see. Elise, you said we took a family trip to Florida last month and now family trip in April. I'm grateful for our family time so often. I know that's right, Elise. You get to go with the family, hang out. That's a beautiful thing. We got spring break was coming up in April, but we didn't plan anything because we were moving. So yeah. All right, let's see. Sherry said, I almost lost my daughter at different ages in her life, times 3. Woo! She lived through all 3, and we just celebrated her 30th birthday. I am so thankful and grateful to celebrate her life with her. I know that's right, because it could have been different, right, Sherry? It could have been that she got taken out in any of those circumstances. That's everybody. We just could not be here, but it is beautiful to be here, and we got to celebrate it. We got to be happy about it. Every day, okay? Be grateful for being on this planet, even for the pain, okay? I want you to think about it like that. I want you to be even grateful for the pain that you go through because it's part of the fact that you're alive. If you are going through pain, then that means that you can have equal amounts of pleasure. As bad as the pain can be, the pleasure can be just that great on the other side of it. So yes, yeah, it sucks to hurt. Yes, it does. However, it does not mean that everything will be pain. All right. All right. So if you're going to ask questions, let's get back to the question thing. Now, I know I keep saying, don't ask the questions. Don't ask the questions. Don't ask the questions. Okay. But if you must ask the questions, if your brain is itching, because it's almost like that, your brain starts to itch. It's like, you got to ask him this, and you got to understand that, and you got to make sure that he answers this, and it makes you a little crazy. So instead of that, oh, that's not even the top. There we go. Here's the top of it. This is the and, THEANT, the and. This is an excellent game. This is the healing edition. It has questions, but they're better questions than the questions you want to ask, okay? Your questions suck. Let me just tell you that right now. Don't think that your questions are better. I have been doing this for some years now. Nobody's questions are good. All right? None of the questions that you want to ask, none of the ones you think are so important are good. All right? They're not. I promise you they will not get you what you want. This met. All right. What you want to do is you want to connect, because that's what it is. When your brain is itching to ask a question, you're like, well, I just want to understand. I just want to be closer. I just want to heal this. All right. Better idea. Ask these questions. All right. This is a game that you can sit there and deal out a few cards to each other. No more than like 3. All right. You don't need more than 3. This can be kind of deep. Okay. And then you can also have the choice of skipping. You hold your hands, you look into each other's eyes for 10 seconds, and then the person says pass. They are allowed to pass on the question, but these questions are better. There are some that will be a little bit sensitive for the entire cheating thing, but they're not a whole bunch of those. There are good questions in here. So let me give you a couple of them. What do you think I really need to hear these days? Wouldn't you be interested to know what he thinks you want to hear? Isn't that a better question than what position did you have sex with her in? Where did you have sex? Isn't that better? That's a way better question. That's about the two of you connecting, all right? What do you think I really need to hear these days? All right, give you another one here. Cut the deck. What can I do more of to be happier? Ooh, I bet you he has some ideas about that. Ask him that one tonight. What can I do more of to be happier? Ask him and see what he says about that. All right. I would like to know what the answer is. And then one more. If I was in your shoes, what do you think I'd find most challenging? If I'm living in your shoes, if I'm living your life, what is the part of your life that is so difficult you would think that I would think it was difficult? What is that? That's a good question, right? We got to start asking better questions. If we're going to ask questions at all, and don't ask the question, but if we must ask a question, make it a good question. All right? Does that make sense? You all let me know. All right. Joyfulness today. All right. So that's the basics right there. That's my basics. I'm always going to tell you this stuff because these are the things that you got to start with. You doing your deep breathing, doing your journaling, changing that attitude to gratefulness instead of sorrow, and asking all those questions. Stop asking all those questions that are hurting you and causing you more pain. We don't need that. Doing those things, just those things, will start to make things feel better. All right? Starts to heal you up. It really does. All right, so I got questions. I know we got questions, but you all let me know. If you got questions, make sure that you go ahead and put them in the comments. Lou, I see you over there on Instagram. Hey, girl, glad you're here. Things going all right over there? I know you and your honey been doing pretty good lately. Let me know. All right, and let me know. Oh, we got hearts going on. Everything going beautifully. I love it. Let me know if you got any questions, okay? All right, so next part, I'm going to answer some questions because we're gonna talk about some things tonight. Lala asked me, I said, what do you want to talk about with me about healing and reconciling? She said, narcissistic, cheating, and liars. Woo, boy. All right, let's go. Let's dig into it. Let's dive deep. All right, I'm going to tell you what I have experienced as far as that is concerned. And we will talk about that. Hold on, wait a minute. I see questions. Let me back up real quick. All right. Oh, wait, go back. Hey Lou, you said we've been doing good. Thank you. Working through the ups and downs. Much better than ever. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, girl. It's like that. It's some ups and downs, but it's not like it was when you first started. And when you first started, it's like, whoa, and way down to the basement. But, the little bumps and things are just normal. That's normal life. That's normal, regular loving somebody. So you're on the right track, all right? Let's see. Kitty. Hello, Kitty. Kitty said, I noticed when I'm stressed with work or planning our wedding, I want to ask him more questions. You're right. I'm sure I am just trying to deflect off what is really stressing me out, and he has changed so much that they linger in my head. Exactly. When you're stressed out, your brain is like, well, here, this would be a good time to ask a question. But it'll just stress you out more. It's going to stress you out to ask him, and then whatever he says is going to stress you out too, because it's never got the right answer. That's the whole thing about the questions. It's never going to be the right answer. No matter what he says, he can tell you the absolute truth as far as he sees it. It's never enough, right? I know, right? That's the thing. If it would work, if it would be enough, if you would just be satisfied, it'd be fine. But if you're stressed out and then you try to ask him some more questions, you're not going to accept anything he has to say. And then you're going to keep on asking questions down that same vein because you don't believe him and you're trying to catch him in a lie now. And now it's an adversarial situation instead of a conversation. And we got to start having more conversations instead of more fights, more arguments. People always tell me, I'm not arguing. Okay, let me let you understand what an argument is. An argument is you are trying to convince somebody else that what you believe to be the truth is the truth. Okay, that's an argument. That's what you're doing. Okay, so you got to recognize that you're in an argument in order to be able to stop an argument. All right. Sherry, you said, how often do you recommend playing that question game? You know what? It gets a little deep. So I would say, let's start off if you are not having the greatest of times with each other, maybe once a month. I would say let that be part of a date night, once a month. We have Like we have date night every week, but like one of those weeks it can be playing this game. And then, if the both of you love it and you enjoy doing it, you can make it more, but I wouldn't try and do it more than once a month because it's deep. It asks you some deep questions, and then you're going to delve into some stuff, and it's going to lead into a bigger conversation, and then that kind of stretches. So that's it's a little much when you're trying to heal to have an extended conversation like that. So we want to keep it maybe like once a month, just to start off with, see if you really love it. If you really love it and you're just like, I love asking these questions to you, I love the answers you give me, I love doing this back and forth with you, let's play some more. Sure, you can. But yeah, maybe like once a month. That's about it. That's all you really need. Because you'll find out some good stuff, and then you got to absorb it. Like it's some deep questions, so you've got to absorb what they're telling you because they're probably going to surprise you. Mm-hmm. All righty, ladies. Let me get into this whole narcissistic cheating and lies thing. Let me tell you one thing I have noticed. I was a psychiatric nurse for 6 years. In the 6 years that I was doing nursing in a psychiatric facility, like it's a stay over. You come, you get committed for a while, you stay with us for a while. When I was doing that, I met exactly 2 people who were diagnosed narcissists. 2. That's it. That's all I ever met in 6 years was 2 of them. And I'm here to tell you right now, narcissistic people are not what you all are thinking that they are. Everybody can have a narcissistic reaction to things, especially cheaters getting caught. Okay, they go super narcissist because, I cannot just admit that this was me and this was all my fault. So they're going to definitely go to a narcissistic reaction. But the whole thing of trying to say that your mate is a narcissist, I think we need to stop that. I think we need to cut that shit out because, number one, we are not qualified to diagnose that. I was a nurse in a psychiatric facility, and I wasn't qualified to diagnose anybody with anything. I know for sure if you don't have any medical background, you just have a relationship that's rocky right now, you're not qualified to decide that they're a narcissist, okay? I'm sorry. It just is what it is. You do not have the qualifications for that. You can believe you have matched it all up with the definitions and whatnot you find online. I get that sometimes it looks just like it, but if they were a narcissist, most of the time, you would know something is a little off with them. You would know as you're getting into a relationship with them, opening up to yourself, they don't act like regular people. People that actually have that diagnosis, they are off. You'll know it. You would have known long ago if your mate was a narcissist, if they were a narcissist. Okay? So that's the first thing. All right? That's the first thing I just want you all to know. Because it's starting to drive me a little crazy. People are like, oh, he's a narcissist. You don't know that. You don't know that. You are not a doctor. You do not have the DSM sitting at your desk going through the signs and symptoms, and you can diagnose them. You can't, all right? And then believing that is what is going on with them, because narcissists don't change. That's another thing that you need to understand. It doesn't really matter. They can act like they're normal for a little while, but they don't actually change. They do that to show that, oh, look, I'm changing. Look, I'm different than what you thought I was, to get people to draw them back in, and then they start doing the exact same thing all over again, which again is something that can happen with a cheater, okay? But it can happen with everybody, but they never change. They don't grow from this. They can be told all their lives that they're narcissists, that they got problems with this, and they're not going to change or grow from it. You can talk to somebody, a regular, normal human being, and say, hey, you're being really narcissistic right now. And they will be like, oh, shit, I don't want to be like that. And they will really try not to be. All right. It's a different thing. Okay. Elise, you said I also work in mental health. And the word narcissist and narcissistic is so overly and wrongly used on social media. It's crazy. It really is. It is really overused. And then that makes you give up all hope because narcissists don't change. So there's no need for you to even try and deal with it. You know what I mean? Oh, I thought my husband was knocking. All right. So yeah, they are it's usually not. It's usually not that they're a narcissist. Taylor, you said most of us have narcissistic tendencies. Yes, we do, because that is actually the way that we are designed as human beings. We are designed as human beings to take care of ourselves. That's the way that our brains are wired. So yes, we do have narcissistic tendencies. All of us do. But you said very few people are true narcissists. Gaslighting is another one. Yeah, that's another one. It was so funny. It was like for a long time, my husband didn't know what gaslighting meant. I explained it to him, I don't know, maybe about a year ago. And he was like, oh, is that what that is? He was like, no, that's not what I've heard people use it as. I was like, yeah, because people use it wrong. And I'm trying to tell you, most of the time, you are not dealing with a narcissist. You are dealing with somebody who is hurting, and hurt people hurt people. So they are lashing out, doing things that they should not be doing, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have that mental disorder. So we got to start letting that go first. Stop assuming that you know that your mate is a narcissist. You don't. All right. They're absolutely, probably really not. They're really probably not. Okay. There are some out there. They absolutely do exist. I've met them, but it's a way smaller percentage of people than you think it is. All right. As far as lying, there's a quote, falsehood is the child of fear. Is all that's what I always say about people when they're lying. People lie when they're afraid. People lie when they're afraid. And people lie when their perception is a little skewed too. People will do that. I go into sessions, if I ever do couple sessions. I don't do very many of them. Every now and again, I do a couple session now. But I go in telling the couple, hey, I don't believe either one of you. I don't believe either one of you are telling me the absolute truth. I know that there is your side, and then there's the truth. I'm here to try and represent the truth, try and represent your relationship, not your side, not his side. That's not what I'm doing when I'm working with a couple. So I always let people know ahead of time, you can try and convince me that you're telling me the absolute truth. I'm going to take everything that you're saying with a grain of salt. And I'm going to know that in trauma, your memory sucks. And I'm not going to automatically believe everything you say. So people lie. People just do, okay? A lot of the time it's fear and pain and trauma that end up making it be that people lie. So I think if you find that somebody is lying, you need to scratch the surface a little bit, try and find the fear, the pain, the trauma that is causing that lie to be expressed. I think that when you catch somebody lying and then you keep catching them lying, you ever just kept catching somebody over and over again in a lie, it's stressful. Because you're like, you don't respect me. But they are dealing with fear or pain or trauma that tells them that is the appropriate response. That lying is the only way out. You remember when you were a kid? Well, okay, not everybody remembers this. And now let me just say this like this. I was in trouble a whole lot as a kid. I wasn't that bad. Now, come to find out, I think I had ADHD and we just didn't know that. And so then, some stuff I'd be told all the time, that I'm doing the wrong thing, that I'm bad, that I'm not doing what I should be doing. And, you start to lie about that. If you're a kid and you don't want anybody to fuss at you about being wrong for something, you go ahead and start lying. It is actually part of growth and development of our human brains to be able to lie. When little kids start lying, it's like, I forget how old they are, probably about 5 or 6. They start to understand the concept that not everything that you say has to be exactly the way it is. And that is a developmental milestone. So lying in and of itself, I stopped taking so personally. I stopped taking so personally. And then I have also, on top of that, I have my husband who has bipolar disorder. And part of his illness is he will lie just randomly, just weird crap that I'll be like, that's not true, right? And he'll be like, yes, it is. But he's manic and he is in contact with a completely different reality than I am in contact with, and in his reality is true, but it's not true for the rest of us. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons that people lie. I think trying to find compassion for that. I think trying to understand that your mate is probably coming from a scary place. Most of us have come from a scary place. If you're fortunate enough that you haven't come from pain and trauma and issues and family stuff, if you're that fortunate, then you need to be real compassionate about people who have. And if you have experienced that, then it goes without question. You know what it's like to deal with all of that. So you got to understand in other people, it's hard, it's difficult, it's painful. You know what I mean? So that's the way I feel about lies and narcissists. Lies, the lying gets better as you heal. As he is afraid that you are going to flip out and just leave, he'll lie more. But as things settle down, you start regulating your emotions, you start connecting again, you start healing together, the two of you start to get more trust, and then he'll start believing that, oh, if I tell you the truth, you're not just going to leave me. All right? Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense to you. And then Jessica had a good question. She said, that and forgiveness, right? I said, is it any particular part, or is it just the process overall of forgiving? And she said, it's the process overall. I'm aware of the different stages, but I just don't know what it takes to reach the goal, being able to let it go. I want to be able to say it was a mistake, and mistakes happen. And you can start from there, because that is true. Okay. It was a mistake. A mistake is an error in judgment for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It is a mistake. So just that alone, if you want to start to say that, you start to say that. You start to tell your brain, hey, this was a mistake. This was an error in judgment. This was a thing that he was flawed in, that he thought this was a good idea, and come to find out it was a bad idea. People do it all the time. That is exactly how it was. Even if he planned it. Okay, even if it was an ongoing thing, that still doesn't make it not a mistake. And I think that people kind of get stuck on the word mistake, thinking that it's like a childish type of term, that, oh, you can't say that that's a mistake. You made a choice. Well, you got to make a choice to make a mistake. Okay, it goes together. So if you have had an error in your judgment, it is a mistake. And you can tell your brain that hey, look, that was a mistake. That was an error in judgment. He did not make the right choices. He did not do the right things, but he knows that now, because you know better, you do better. And I'm going to believe that next time, if presented with the same situation, he will know better and do better at that point. Does that make sense to you, Jessica? Let me know. It's a consistent thing. If you're going to forgive, you've got to wake up every morning with forgiveness on the mind. It has got to be not waking up every morning and, oh, I'm hurting so bad and I don't know why you did this to me and I'm just going to be mad about it today and I think I'm going to cry about it for a while. It has to be every morning when you get up, you flip the switch and you go immediately to I forgive. And you tell yourself and you tell your brain, I forgive. I am forgiving. I have forgiven. I forgive my mate. And just let that be your default setting throughout the day. So if it's ever something where you're feeling like something is kind of rising up, you remind yourself, wait, is this how I would treat him if I forgave him? You got to check that. Is this how I would behave if I was forgiven? If it's not, you get that behavior in alignment with what forgiving would look like for you immediately. Don't let your brain just sit there and stew and do what it wants to do, because your brain is an employee. And if you keep letting it get away with stuff, it'll keep just getting away with stuff. So if you keep telling it, no, we need to be forgiving, but then you just let it say, well, but he hurt me so bad. And he's just an awful, awful person, and I shouldn't forgive him. And I don't know if I want to even do this. If you keep allowing your brain to say whatever the hell it wants to say, then it's going to continue to say the things that align with the trauma, with pain, because that's our default as human beings to try and save ourselves. We always go for that. All right. So you've got to retrain your employee and let your employee know, no, that is not what we're doing. All right. Let me see. Got questions on that? All right. Oh, come on. Could it go any slower? All right. Let's see. At least you said, what do you say to people who say there's no excuse for cheating? It's a choice. A little bit flippantly, I say you can sin and still love God. That's the same. It's the same level. You can do the wrong thing. You can do the wrong thing. We're just human beings. We are people. We are fragile. We do the wrong things. We have brains that are hardwired to make us do things that distance us from other people and hurt other people. We lash out at people. We lie. We get really, really sad and worked up in our feelings. And there is no excuse, sure, but there are reasons. All right. Everybody does things for a reason. And if you make a choice that bad, aren't you in pain when you do that? Like, if you ever made a choice that was anywhere near as bad as that, did you make it from a great, happy place where you were feeling upbeat, you were feeling good about your life, or did you make that bad choice from a bad place? We've got to start understanding that about people. Yeah, it's a choice. Yes. You cannot have a mistake without a choice. We make choices every single solitary day. It does not mean that we don't love people. We make the wrong choices for ourselves every day. I listen to Reddit stories pretty obsessively, and there's a ton of Reddit stories about like mothers who screwed over their children in some way, shape, or form, thinking that it was loving. All right, just making choices that were terrible for their children, but thinking that they were loving. So there's a lot of different reasons why this can happen. There's no excuse for it. You are responsible for what you do wrong. But we as people are designed to do wrong. We have that intrinsically in our DNA. We fuck up. We really do as a unit, okay? So trying to like narrow it down to just one person and they're just so wrong for their choices is really super judgmental, because you're one bad choice away from being that. One. That's it. Exactly one bad choice away from exactly where they are. So we need to start giving each other a little bit more grace, a little bit more compassion and understanding as far as that goes. Does that make sense? Sherry, you said, what if it's a serial situation with 50 years of planning to act out? Over 50 years with planning to act out. So he did it over and over again. A lot of the time, he said, what about people that are making poor choices that are very arrogant? That is coming from pain too. Most of those people that are real arrogant and keep making the same messed up decisions over and over again, that comes from pain too. But you saying this is over 50 years serially cheating. I think there's a lot going on with that. Okay, there's 3 reasons that I say that people cheat: sick, sad, stupid. Okay, that men cheat. All right, because women cheat for other reasons. Sick is any kind of physical or mental illness. Could be depression, could be bipolar disorder, could be anxiety, could be heart attack, could be kidney dialysis, could be a lot of things. All right. Sickness does not bring out the best in human beings. I was a nurse for 20 years. I can promise you I know that for sure. Being ill does not make us make the good decisions. It just doesn't. All right. So it could be that. Then there's sad, which is a loss of some kind. All right. Loss like grief, loss like trauma, loss like losing themselves. It can, loss like feeling like they've lost a relationship with you. It can be all of that. All right. Then there's stupid. Stupid is not what you think it is. Stupid is all the stupid things that men and women are taught about being in relationships with one another that are conflicting and crazy. All right. I'm talking about the stupid things that we see and hear as we grow that affect our brains and make us think that that bad behavior is normal. All right. A lot of us have been traumatized. And so a lot of us are living with terrible behaviors and with people who have terrible behaviors because they're all traumatized. And so if this is a serial thing, I think that leans more on the stupid part. Not that he is stupid, but him, okay, if this is over 50 years, he's an older guy. He came from the time period where you're supposed to have a whole bunch of women. One of my grandfathers had two families within 2 blocks of each other. The kids went to school together, did not know until almost all the kids were out of school. All right. Happens like that. So to them, that's totally normal. You're supposed to do that. It's part of being a man. If you don't cheat, then you're less than. You don't have as much value. People don't want you as much. Men very, very often are only defined by how much money they make and how many women they get. All right. When they're talking to other men, when that is the playing ground that they're dealing with, a lot of it is, oh, well, you got one good girl? Oh, well, why don't you have 2? You should have 3 then. Oh, you got the girl? Why not get her mama too? It is sick. It's a bad way of going about it, but it's just stupid things that get passed down, and people feel like, oh, well, yeah, all of my male relatives did it like that, so I should be doing it like that too. But the problem with that is, you come out of this at the end of that trail and you got one or two things. You got an old couple where the wife is just fed the fuck up. She is mad at him all the time. She is cursing him out. They got issues, okay? Or he's by himself. He's alone. He doesn't have anybody to take care of him, doesn't have anybody to love. He is out here just in the world on his own, spreading that poison that other men should be cheating and running around with as many women as they can too. So I think a part of it is just the generation that he comes from, just the idea that so many men have been told that that's perfectly normal behavior. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're any kind of man, then that's the life that you should be living. You should have many, many women and many, many children and just run around here doing all of the above. All right. I think that's what it is. So if this is a consistent thing with him, it's probably the stupid. It's probably that. They might be a little sick and a little bit sad mixed in there too. Sometimes you can find, issues with that. Going back, if you look at his family, or his male relatives, the people that he looked up to, are they happy? Are they with anybody? Are they lonely? What is going on with them? A lot of the time, if you can direct their attention to that, you can say, okay, look, I understand that your dad or whoever raised you to be like this, and it's many, many women. I get that, but do you want the life that your dad has? If you look at his life right now, is that how you want your life to be in another 20 years? Is that what you are looking for? Is that what you feel is a good life for you? Is he happy? Are they chilling? Is he with a woman who wants to have sex with him still? Like, what is happening there in his life that makes you feel like that's such a good idea? And sometimes that can break it, but it's very, very powerful, that idea of what being a man is to these men. It really is, especially if they're older, and it's hard on them. It really is. If they feel like they've been told their whole lives that they're supposed to be like that. Now we're telling them, oh no, you're wrong for cheating. They're like, but everybody I know cheated. Everybody, and they didn't lose their spouses. Everybody did. So, that's the way I think about that. If it's a serial situation, I get that. Mine was a serial situation, but come to find out, there was some sick mixed in there. Mine had bipolar disorder, and that every time he started reaching out to random women online and whatnot, that was a sign that he was going manic. I didn't know that until, it happened a few times in a row. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because he's acting stupid. All right, so he must be a little bit manic right now. Come to find out, if I just followed along with that and just believed that, that he's getting a little bit manic right now, and started working on that part instead of trying to like confront him about the girls, be like, hey, you haven't slept, I need you to lay down with me, I need you to rest, I need you to take care of yourself, what's going on with you? Back when he was taking medicine, I'm like, hey, you need to take your medicine. And of course he's a little bit tense about that, a little testy about that, because nobody wants to be told that they're sick. But eventually he would hear me out and he'd be like, oh, okay, all right, well, yeah, maybe it is, I need to take my medicine. And he'd go ahead and do it and get himself together and start behaving like normal again. So there's a lot of different reasons, but I think if he's been doing this consistently over and over and over again throughout your whole relationship, it's probably the stupid part. It's probably trained by all of the men in his life that that's what he's supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? You all let me know if you got any other questions. You know I love to answer all your questions. Oh, let's see. Got anything? I don't see anything over there. Any other questions on the post? It's almost about an hour. We've almost been here about an hour. Yeah, that's about it. Whole thing about the forgiving. If you just go ahead and let yourself forgive. Stop giving yourself a hard time about it. Stop kicking yourself about it. You're not doing the wrong thing. To choose to forgive somebody you love, especially in a marriage, that's the whole damn point. If you are going to spend an entire lifetime with somebody, it is guaranteed you're going to have to forgive them. It is absolutely guaranteed. I will put a stamp on it. If you're going to live an entire lifetime, you're going to need to forgive them. They're going to need to forgive you. All right? We need to start practicing that. We need to start letting that be okay, because that's what it says in the vows, for better or for worse. Okay, yeah. In the worst, we got to forgive each other for the worst, okay? It doesn't mean that only the worst will be outside things happening to the two of you. It can be the two of you, all right? It could be the two of you messing up. So if you're going to commit to that, you're going to say for better or for worse, you need to understand that you're going to need to mean it for your entire life, not just for a couple of times. Well, I forgave him once or twice, but he keeps doing messed up stuff. Well, guaranteed you do messed up stuff too. We are human beings. We all mess up. We all do wrong. All right. So if you're going to forgive, focus on forgiving. Get yourself up in the morning with your ideas and your mind on forgiving and keep on going. All right. Let's see. I got more questions. Let me see. Go home. Refresh that. Let's see. Oh, I thought there was something else. Hold on. Somebody else say something? How did you heal from the bad images of what they did? Okay, first of all, treat my brain like an employee, okay? When it starts wandering off to, ooh, look, remember how she sounded and remember what positions they were in, I would be like, hey, cut that shit out. That is not what I'm thinking about. That is not what I want to focus on. You need to pick another thought. And like being a disciplinarian with my brain, instead of just letting it run off and say whatever it wanted to say, you can control it. You don't have a brain that doesn't listen to you. You have a brain that listens. You just have to take advantage of that. You have to decide that you don't want it to do that thing anymore. And then every time it does it, redirect it. No. We are not thinking about that. That is not okay. That is not helpful at all, brain. I know that you're trying to help me. I get that. That's not helpful at all to me right now. So no. And then just consistency with that. Constantly monitoring your thoughts, monitoring your body, because you will be triggered in your body before you recognize that you are triggered mentally, okay? You will be triggered and your body will be reacting to the trigger. It's already in that fight or flight state before you even realize that you've been triggered by something. So you need to start paying attention to your body. When your body starts getting uncomfortable, do your deep breathing, go relax, listen to some white noise, whatever it takes to let go of that feeling, to bring that feeling back down, to get back in control of your emotions. That's what you're going to need to do. And do your deep breathing, sit down. I'm enjoying some coloring. Last night I was sick. My allergies been acting up, and I was just laying in bed coloring last night, and it was so soothing. All right, whatever it is, whatever it will take to calm yourself down, you need to go ahead and do, and redirect your brain. Tell it what you want it to do instead of just letting it go. It is capable of running on autopilot, okay? It does that just fine. It will automatically run things all the time if you're not in control of it. However, the default is fear. The default is go to a fearful place instead of going to a hopeful, happy, loving place. So you have to choose that. You have to decide on that. You have to say, hey, I know that the default is fear. However, I'm not an animal. I am a grown woman. I'm a damn queen. I don't have to react like an animal every single time you say, tell me to, brain. I don't have to do that. That is not required of me. I can make a different choice, and it makes it so much better when you do that. It makes it so much better when you are consistently like a child. Like, you got to talk to it like a little kid. Hey, no, what did I say about that? We are not going to think about that. Put that thought down. Pick another thought. Right? Talk to it like a little kid if you need to. Your brain is an employee. It will do things on autopilot, but sometimes you got to take back over. Sometimes you got to just say, okay, look, I'm in charge now. You go ahead and sit down for a little while. You need to rest. I'm going to be in charge. We're not just going to let my subconscious run everything. All right. Does that make sense? Elise, he said, that's so hard, but I know it will work. It does. It really does. It's just about being consistent with it. It's just about consistently telling your brain what you want it to do. And if you do it consistently, it works pretty fast. But it's almost like magic when it happens, because you're like, oh my God, everything is changing all of a sudden when you get back in control of your brain. Alicia said, if they are trained, because all the men in their family, do you think it will be like that forever since it's so strong in the men in the family? It won't be. Because mine right now is teaching my son not to be like that. He is telling him, you do not have to cheat on anybody. You, as a teenager, you should be dating multiple people. You should not be exclusive with somebody. But when you are exclusive with somebody, it needs to be a solitary relationship where you're not running around doing all sorts of things behind their back. Now, my son, he's a good kid. I don't know if he would be doing that anyhow. He told my husband the other day, he was like, I don't think me and you would have been friends in school. He told my husband that. My son is so serious. He's so studious. He's such a good kid. But he told my husband, he was like, I don't know if we'd have been friends in school. You're a little different than my people. But my husband is consistently teaching him that. He knows that his father, his uncles, his cousins, all the men in his family were like that. And so he is intentional now to show his son that it doesn't have to be like that. And I'm just delighted by that. I am. It makes me so much happier that I actually really went ahead and gave him another chance, because every year he shows up more and more and more as the man that I know he is. But he really shows up like that. The other day, right? Okay, he told me the other day, he was like, when we were moving around, we were staying in a hotel for a while, and I had notebooks and stuff that I was writing in. He was like, in one of your notebooks, I wrote you a note. And I was like, you wrote me a note? I was like, oh. I was like, which one? He was like, I don't know which one it was, but you'll come across it one day. And I came across it day before yesterday. I was sick in bed and going through my notebook and flipped open to a sweet message from him, telling me how much he loves me and loves being in this life with me. And, I'm trying to tell you, it gets better and better and better. It really does work. It really does. They can get better. They can recognize that pattern will not get them what they want. All that pattern got his uncles was women that were mad at him. That's all that pattern got his uncles. He recognized that he didn't want to have that in his life, and he decided to teach his son different. So that's where we're at right now. I think that we're at the same place, Elise. I think that we as women are teaching one another that, hey, just because they have messed up like this doesn't mean that they are going to be like this forever. I know they always say, well, it's a cheater, always a cheater. I know they say that, but mine has proven that that's not so. I know that that's not so, literally, because I've seen him not be a cheater anymore. So we've got to start doing that too. As we are healing and the relationship is coming together and our families are healing, we've also got to be telling other women and telling even our daughters that, okay, if you have love for somebody and this is your family and this is the person that you want to be with and you stick it out for years, you're going to need to forgive them. You're going to need to come to understanding. You're going to need to have compassion. It just is the way of love. If you're going to love somebody for a lifetime, you're going to have to put up with a whole bunch of crap from them. All right. And that's all it really is. Just knowing that you're going to live a lifetime together, you're going to have to put up with some stuff, right? So I think it's going to change on both sides. I want this to be a revolution. I want this to be a thing where we are starting to change this from our sides, and then as they heal, they're changing it from their side, and we have less cheating, we have less relationships breaking up over cheating, and we can get to a better place as a unit. You know what I mean? Like everybody we don't have to worry about being like 50% divorced all the time. We can maybe like bring that number down a little bit. It's a beautiful thing. Elise, she said, so a man in his 30s changed his way of thinking after being so conditioned for so many years, acted a certain way. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened, Elise. That's exactly what happened. My husband was in his 30s when all this started. And it was like for a good 4 years in his 30s that he was just buck wild. And then, as I started to heal, he started to recognize that he wanted a healed, happy relationship with me. And so he started working on all his stuff. He started working on his issues, his traumas, his bipolar disorder. He started working on all his crap. And because that's a thing about men, they want to be good men. They want to so badly just give them an opportunity to be a good man, and they'll try and be a good man. So if you give them this opportunity, if you say, hey, look, I believe in you. I think that you can change what you've been doing. I think that you can be a better man than you have been. I think that you can do better. I think that you can behave in a better, more mature way. I believe in that for you. And I'm expecting that from you. When you do that, they start scrambling to be better men because that's all they want to do. They just want to be good men. And the only examples they have suck. So we've got to show them a different example. So yes, absolutely, they can change. And mine's in his 50s now, and now he's got it. But, it took him a while. It was some training, it was some conditioning, it was trying to, figuring out that he had the bipolar disorder, that he had some depression and anxiety going on, figuring that out, figuring his stuff out, and then becoming a better and better mate to me. And that's the point. If you're going to live an entire lifetime together, we should be growing and changing and moving and shaking and being better and different with each other as we go through all the stages. There are a ton of stages to being with each other. You know what I mean? I remember the stage where we were first married, had little kids. All right. That's a whole different place than married now 20 years and we only have one left in the house and he's almost 17. That's a whole different life. Okay. It's a whole different place. So you've got to know going into a long-term relationship that you're going to go through many, many changes, and they're going to go through many, many changes. And it is delightful to see them go through their changes. It is, as they get to be better and better men, it is delightful to see. But it starts with you because you're going to lead the way. If you're going to be a worse and worse woman, he's going to be a worse and worse man. But if you have decided that you want to heal and you want to be a better woman and you want to be healed up and you want to behave like a healed person and you start behaving in that way, he's going to try and keep up with that. He is not going to want to be left behind by you doing the right thing. All right. So yes, absolutely. Man in his 30s can change. That's when they change the most, I think. I truly do. All right, y'all. You got any other questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? This chair sucks. My chair broke when we were moving, and now I have a really hard one instead of my soft one, and it hurts. You got any other questions, though? Questions, comments, thoughts, complaints? Anything in particular you want to talk about? Let me refresh this, make sure I don't miss anybody. I do enjoy talking to you about this. I want you to know what I know so you can get out of pain. I am desperate for you to be able to get out of the pain that you're in right now. I don't want you to have to deal with this pain anymore. And I know the way out, and I know how to fix it so that you're not hurting so much anymore. I want you to come join me about that, all right? In the group, and I'm going to have to put it in my link tree because I didn't yet. I have my freebie about the dreams formula. You know my dreams formula. Decide, recognize the fear that comes with that decision and overcome it. Evaluate the why, the sick, sad, and the stupid of it all. Allow the healing to happen. Manage those future triggers and seek some support. That is how you do it, okay? That is the basic layout of the path. If you do those things consistently over and over and over again, make that decision for yourself. Don't put it on your kids. Don't be like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to be just divorced. You got to make it that this is what you really, really want to do, not that it's something you're being kind of forced into, all right? Recognizing the fear of making that decision, because everybody's going to make you feel like you're doing something wrong for that. You're not. You're not doing anything at all wrong being with the person that you want to be with, forgiving the person that you love. There's nothing wrong with that. That has never been a bad thing until now. So we've got to take that back, all right? Evaluating the why, figuring out the sick, sad, and the stupid, figuring out what it is that went on in his past and his history that made this seem like a good idea. Allowing the healing to happen, putting down that wall, putting your ring back on, having sex, kissing on a regular basis, date nights, doing your relationship, all right? You gotta let that wall down and start acting like a couple again. And then M is managing those future feelings, paying attention to your body, finding out exactly where you're feeling discomfort, and is this a trigger? Am I triggered right now? Let me pay attention to that. Let me do my deep breathing. Let me see if I can calm that feeling down so that it doesn't explode and I start exploding all over them. And then seeking support. Hey, I'm here, okay? I am here for you. You need somebody who is going to tell you to do all those things, who's not going to let you fall into the fear and the pain trap. Your trauma wants to trap you with fear and pain more than anything in the world. It wants to draw you back into the little hole and make you try and protect yourself from fear and pain by hiding, by isolating. If you have support that tells you no, that's not what you want. You want to be out here. You want to be connected to your honey again. You want to be happy. You don't want to be lonely. You don't want to be sad in a dark hole. You need somebody to tell you that, not somebody to tell you, well, yeah, what's a cheater? Always a cheater. You shouldn't be with him anymore. You should just kick him to the curb. You should just be unhappy without him. I know that there are plenty of people out there saying that, but that's not aligning with what you really want. And if you start listening to people who are not aligned with what you want, you will get something you don't want. So you got to find some support who will help you to actually heal. And I've been doing this a minute. I'm good at this, okay? All you need to do is link up with me and I can help you. But the dreams formula, it is in the pin section, right up here in the group. So make sure that you go and you get your copy of this lovely resource, because I'm trying to tell you, if you go through the dreams formula and you're doing this consistently, I'm trying to tell you, you're going to heal. You're going to get better. You're going to feel better. All right. So let me see. Let me copy that. Oh, well, I can't copy that, but okay. Anyway. So let me just, I don't have any other questions, I don't think. I'm going to put it in the comments below, and I'm going to put it in the link tree over on Instagram. All right. At least you said, well, now that you're done ordering microphones, you can order a new chair. You know what? I didn't even have to order a new microphone. It was my computer. I think it was the USB jack and my computer was jacked up, so I had to switch computers. I'm good now. I like this microphone. This is a cute little microphone. I love it. But I was like, dang it, it's not working already. But it was my computer. So yes, definitely now a new chair is in my future because, honey, this is hard. This chair is hurting my butt. And I got a lot of butt, okay? Oh man. All right. So, real quick, last thing that I'm always going to tell you. Remember at the beginning, I was telling you stuff about getting your trauma under control. All right. Another thing that you can do to get your trauma under control is to do your affirmations. Have you been doing your affirmations? I need you to start doing that. Okay. I need you to pay attention to this and make this be a daily practice. Okay. Set an alarm. All right. Set an alarm. Pick yourself out some good affirmations. And I'm trying to tell you, it is super, super helpful to change your brain. Your brain will tell you in the midst of this trauma that you're just terrible, he's just terrible, life's just terrible, all is wrong. All right. If you are consistently doing your affirmations, you are introducing better ideas into your brain. You are telling your brain that I don't accept that everything is terrible. Yes, things have gone wrong. Yes, they have, but I do not accept that that is my world. That is my reality. I feel like this about myself. And if I feel like this about myself, then it can't be that bad, can it? So working on this. First thing you need to know, look yourself dead in the eye when you're doing your affirmations. Look at yourself. All right. Say it with conviction. Say it like you mean it. Say it like this is your very best friend and you want your very best friend to know this lovely, wonderful thing about themselves, that they are wonderful, that they are understanding and loving and compassionate and beautiful human being. Just the way that you would do it for a friend, do it for yourself. All right. So you'll have a recording of yourself saying it with that conviction, saying it like you believe it. And then your brain can go back to that and be like, well, wait, she said all day that this good thing was true. So we got to start believing that because she keeps repeating that. Whatever you repeat to your brain is what your brain will repeat back to you. All right. So this is the one for today. It says, today I will forgive. Look at that. I'm always coming across the right one for the day. Today I'll forgive any past mistakes I have made and love myself unconditionally. Today I will forgive. And today, that's what I want for you. I want you to forgive yourself for still loving this person. You didn't do anything wrong. You love this person and you still want to work things out with them. That is not wrong. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing that you have chosen love and you have chosen forgiveness and you have chosen understanding and compassion and love and hope. There is nothing wrong with doing that. Anybody who tells you that there's something wrong with doing it is full of shit, or they tried it and they didn't succeed at it, and so they feel like it's impossible. I am here to tell you it is neither bullshit nor impossible. You can get to a good place. You can be happy again. You can be settled. You can be trusting. You can be happy and loving and compassionate and everything that you want to be, and even more. Because I wasn't big on being vulnerable, but hey, guess what? Learn how to be vulnerable in this process. You can be so much better off than you think you can be. And I need you to believe that and forgive yourself for believing in that. All right. Does that make sense? Let me know if there's anything else you want me to answer. Let me look. Everybody's kind of filing out now. It's been about an hour. We're good. Let me see. Anything else? Let me look. Don't see any other questions. So yes, hopefully now I can go ahead and order my new chair. My old chair fell just straight apart. and screws were rolling everywhere. I couldn't find all the pieces to it. I was like, okay, screw it. Never mind. I'll let it go. All right, y'all. That is about it, I believe. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I'll be back again next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 9:15 if my son got a game. Either way, between 9 and 9:15, I will be here to sit with you for an hour and talk to you about healing and reconciling on the Healing Hour Live. Thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to do your basics, do your breathing, do your journaling, be grateful, stop asking all those questions, do your affirmations, do those basics every single solitary day. You will start to get better. I am so proud of you and I love you so much for what you're doing. I'm so impressed by you. I can't believe, so many women would just kick them to the curb and just be over it. You are outstanding. You know what real love is made of, and you deserve lots and lots of it. You deserve breathtaking happiness and magical love in your life. And I am here to be your fairy godmother to give you that. So, make sure you pick up a copy of How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity, the Dreams Formula. And that's about it for me right now. Thanks so much for joining me. And I will see you again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. Bye. Bye, Instagram. And bye, Facebook and YouTube.